Strangers from distant lands, friends of old. Today we embark on a new series where we take a look at the major characters from the world of Tolkien. After providing a brief highlight of the character, we will make a comparison with literary and folk characters, as well as real-life figures from the history of the world. We start our journey with Aragorn. Aragorn is a member of the Dunedain, a group of men who are descendant from the ancient kingdom of Númenor. Aragorn is also known as Strider, a ranger who travels the wilderness of Middle-earth. He plays a significant role in the events of the War of the Ring in the Third Age. Being the heir of Isildur, who was the last king of Gondor, he is a crucial figure in the fight against Sauron's forces. He is a skilled fighter, a wise and noble leader, and has exceptional talent in healing. He is quite skillful by himself, yet the way he supported and elevated the Fellowship of the Ring is remarkable. After Gandalf the Grey was lost in Moria, he took the initiative and protected the Fellowship from many dangers. One small note worth mentioning is the way he was portrayed in the movie adaptation by Peter Jackson, and the character in the books. In the books, he is more sure-footed, focused and proud. Whereas in the movies, he is sharp, deadly, yet he conveys that he is fragile within himself, and sometimes doubtful of what he has to achieve. Our team explored many figures that resemble Aragorn in his character, stature, and background. We will present 5 literary and 3 life figures that scored high in our list. Let's first look at the literary world. Theseus. He is a figure from the Greek mythology who is best known for his defeat of the Minotaur and his role in the founding of Athens. He was a skilled warrior and a diplomat who used his intelligence and physical prowess to overcome challenges and threats to his people. He is also known for his sense of justice and his willingness to help those in need. Theseus killing the Minotaur of Crete to end Athens' sacrifice symbolically resembles Aragorn getting rid of Sauron to free the peoples of Middle-earth. Theseus is also considered to be one of the Argonauts, a band of heroes in Greek mythology, which resembles the Rangers in the north, of which Aragorn was the chieftain. King Arthur. He is a legendary figure in British folklore, known for his leadership and bravery, as he united the kingdoms of Britain and established his own court at Camelot. Like Aragorn, he is a wise and just ruler, who inspires loyalty and devotion from his followers. His most trusted advisor was Merlin, a mythical figure with supernatural abilities. The relationship between King Arthur and Merlin resembles the dynamic between Aragorn and Gandalf. An additional similarity was the Excalibur, King Arthur's sword. King Arthur was the only one able to draw the sword out of a stone, which had been magically fixed. This reminds us the story of Narsil and how Aragorn was the only one able to command the army of the dead, wielding Anduril. Jean Valjean. He is a character from Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. He is a person who transforms from a hardened criminal into a compassionate and selfless man, who devotes his life to helping others. Like Aragorn, he is a character who learns to take responsibility for his actions and strives to be a better person. Through the kindness of a bishop, he becomes a force for good in the world. And like Jean Valjean, Aragorn, being a ranger in the north, was living a tough life, rejecting his born identity, and through the encouragement of Elrond, he decided to become who he was born to be. Another similarity, although quite vague, is Jean Valjean's relationship with Inspector Javert, who was determined to out him. Aragorn had a similar issue with Boromir, who was thinking that Aragorn was in no position to claim the throne of Gondor. Conan the Barbarian. Perhaps most of us know him from the portrayal by Arnold Schwarzenegger or more recently Jason Momoa. He is a character created by Robert Howard in the 1930s, where he is described as a warrior, an adventurer, known for his strength, intelligence, and cunning. He becomes a leader of men in various situations, and he is also described as a tall man with dark mane. One specific resemblance to Aragorn is that Conan is a Cimmerian, a group of people who are believed to be the descendants of people from Atlantis. According to the myth, Atlantis was a highly civilized island nation before it was destroyed by cataclysmic events due to his hubris, much like Numenor in the World of Tolkien. Jon Snow, a character from J.R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. Jon Snow is a noble and selfless character who serves as a leader of the Night's Watch and later as the king in the north. First obvious similarity to Aragorn is his status. He is an illegitimate son of a lord, which gives him little social mobility. He is a part of the Night's Watch, which has quite a resemblance to the Rangers in the north of Middle-earth. They both maintain the peace, still alert to the unexpected supernatural invasions. The second similarity is his claim to the throne. Like Aragorn, although experiencing resistance, he is the rightful heir to the throne, eventually becoming the king. And moreover, the actor Sean Bean presents a rather interesting connection between these two fantasy worlds, playing the father of Jon Snow in the Song of Ice and Fire series, and playing Boromir in The Lord of the Rings. Now let's take a look at the historic figures. Alexander the Great. He was a Macedonian king and a commander who conquered much of the known world in the 4th century BC. Like Aragorn, Alexander was a brilliant military strategist and a charismatic leader who inspired great loyalty and devotion from his soldiers. He ascended the throne of his father under resistance, yet he spent his relatively short life as a king on military campaigns and was said to be never defeated in battle. A rather interesting fact is that Alexander was tutored by the philosopher Aristotle, where he was educated on subjects of medicine, morals, logic, and art. We see a similar dynamic between Aragorn and Gandalf during the Third Age, where Aragorn was encouraged to claim his lineage and fight for the freedom of peoples of Middle-earth, and unite the kingdoms of his forefathers. Harald Hardrada, the king of Norway between 1046 and 1066. Before becoming king, Harald had spent around 15 years in exile as a mercenary and a military commander in Kiev in Rus, and as a chief of Varangian Guard in the Byzantine Empire. He was known for his leadership and military prowess. Like Aragorn, he had extensive military experience and led his troops in many battles. Hardrada's battle years before he was the king of Norway is very much like Aragorn, traversing Middle-earth as the part of the Rangers in the north. Modern historians regard Harald's death in 1066 as the end of the Viking Age. Much like Aragorn's ascension to the throne following the destruction of the One Ring is the start of the Fourth Age in Middle-earth. George Washington. He was an American military officer, statesman, and a founding father who served as the first president of the United States. He was extremely experienced in warfare and led the Continental Army to victory in the American Revolution. Like Aragorn, he was known for his exceptional leadership skill, led by example and rallied his troops to victory. Both Aragorn and George Washington had a strong moral compass and were willing to put their own interest aside for the greater good. George Washington was the first president of the United States, and Aragorn was the first king of the reunited kingdom of Arnor and Gondor. We think all of these characters have some similarities to Aragorn, but out of these 8 characters, we think Harald Hardrada is the closest one, given the places he has been in his lifetime, his royal heritage, his charisma, and leadership. Perhaps the greatest parallel Hardrada and Aragorn has is the probability of death they might have met in a range of geographies. Hardrada spent his years in Scandinavia, Russia, Constantinople, and England, and Aragorn essentially everywhere in Middle-earth. King or not, they must have been cultured people. We hope you find this list helpful and at least gave you some perspective to think about. Please provide your suggestions for figures that are similar to Aragorn in the comments. Until next time, Namarie.